Welcome, everybody. Joe Tarnowski with ECRM here, and I have with me today Todd Gean, who is the category manager for candy over at Hy-Vee. He's also a buyer participant in our recent candy planning virtual session. So, Todd, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
So can you give, before we get into talking about the virtual session itself, can you talk a little bit about your role and how kind of you've had to adapt with all these travel restrictions?
Yeah, so we are currently working remote, and so it really has not affected us. So we're able to do our jobs, connect with our partners, and connect with our stores. And as far as the flexibility goes, we're just as effective right now as we ever have, and our customers and our stores are our number one priority.
Gotcha. And so you've no doubt you're doing a lot of virtual calls and
Yep.
meetings and things like that.
I think really what this has taught us is how actually we can be more efficient with the virtual world and actually the tools that are available. So we really haven't missed a beat. So we're able to do virtual meetings. About 50% of my day consists of virtual Zoom calls, WebEx calls. Whereas when we came into the office, it would be an hour meeting. We're doing that same business within about 30 minutes. And a lot of times we complete the task and we're done 5 minutes early. So I think it's more on point. It's more, again, on task. And I think we're actually achieving better results. And with everybody that's learning how to do the virtual meetings and learning how to do the business, I think we're closer to our vendors. I think we're closer to our stores. It is something that has really, I think, benefited us.
Awesome, and we're seeing a lot of that too here at ECRM. And so when you heard about our virtual sessions, though, you didn't have that thought, though, right? Initially, you mentioned you thought you might hate them, so I was curious to hear why and what changed your mind.
I would hate's a strong word, but I would say that I was not in favor because my thought was, as we were doing things virtually, why couldn't I do the same type of process on my own during my own meetings that I have scheduled, and it would just be basically schedule. I will tell you, I was very leery going in. The first day I had, I believe, 12 meetings. And I will tell you, I fell in love with the system about the second or third meeting. The first one was working out the kinks of the technology, because there was some suppliers that had different people in different locations, so they were not able to hear and some of those things. But that I quickly learned that there's a little help button on the bottom left-hand corner, that those people the ECRM people were right there to fix it. And I mean, again, it's the same virtual meeting. They're on point. They know that when that clock's out, that their time is done. Overall, there is no way I could pull this off on my own, and is absolutely the way that I would recommend that we go as a company, is these virtual meetings. I don't foresee, unless you're going to a show to a touch feel, some type of show to where it's important that you be there. I don't really see the benefit of doing that consistently 4 times a year, to where maybe it's every other year, maybe it's in person is dramatically cut down. We would not have to go in person like we did in the past, but I think it's important that maybe once every other year, or those type of situations where we're doing 2 shows physical and then the other ones are virtual, and it would be on a 2-year rotating basis. But what would it allow me to do is, when we do get back to our office environment, is to be able to hold this all in a meeting room and bring other departments, merchandising or SKU assortment or those type of things. But I would be able to bring those into those meetings within our corporate office, and we could accomplish so much more. So we could physically plan the entire season more efficiently virtually than we probably could on site.
Actually, that's a great point. And the contrast that you made, where originally I'm sure a lot of people were of the same mind, where they think, you know what, I could do these on my own. Why can't, why should I just do them on a, but that's what I kind of point out is it's the process behind it and being able to organize it and do it at scale. That's what we're delivering. Sure, anybody can do this, but we're delivering all of that organization behind it.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of prep work to get these folks ready. And I think this first one, from the first meeting, suppliers, everybody was getting more efficient with how they were going to present.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point, the prep part. How, I know you worked with our team in advance to do a test run. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So we, to go over the tools, how the tools would work, the different nuances to where you could research, you could request samples. It's all in one place, and it's just like what you do on site with the iPads. Mm-hmm. But here, everything is right here on the computer screen where I type notes, I can take pictures, I can request samples, I have the physical virtual meeting, and I don't know why we would go back to having to travel to be out of the office for 4 days when I can accomplish the same thing in my location and be as effective or even more effective by some. This is a game changer, right? And one, let me say your ECRM folks, between Laura, Jessica, and all the folks that take care of us. I mean, they are first class. They are professional. They are compassionate. They're everything that you would want. And I'm completely blown away every time that I have any dealings with them folks.
That's the key behind it all. I mean, it's the people behind it that really make it all work, because people don't realize how high touch it actually is, even though it's a virtual environment. We're dealing with hundreds of computers, hundreds of Wi-Fis. We need to make it all works. So like your point when you mentioned when there is an issue, our guys are watching the dashboard, and if as soon as that customer support button's hit, they jump on it.
And I think this virtual is a game changer. Mm-hmm. I honestly think from my environment to the traveling part of it and everything that we can accomplish. I mean, I think you could bring more. This is a game changer for both of us, because I think there's more suppliers that could absolutely take advantage of this environment and how the process works.
I agree. It saves time. I mean, now it'll even let you follow up faster, because you don't have to, there's no networking function. You're not going to bed at 10 or 11 o'clock. You don't have to travel home. You could just get on your follow-ups afterwards. What was your process? Which tools did you take advantage of, and how did this help you with starting your follow-ups?
Yeah, so I mean, right there, and it would have been after the meetings. Well, during the meetings, we're taking notes with the note function. Well, I'm able to research the people that I'm talking to if I have not met them previously. Request samples. Absolutely. After the meeting's over, it allows you to leave feedback, request samples, and then it allows you to say, hey, follow up with me in 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, or not interested. That is something, those things is you don't want to waste suppliers' time, effort, money, expense if you're not interested at this time. But I think it's something to where it allows, again, you to have all the tools in one place, and it's literally in 10 minutes, the clock is on, and you are on point. And I think it's something that again, it was so efficient, and I absolutely loved it.
That's great. That's great. Well, where do you see, obviously, it sounds like you see virtual is going to play a bigger role in the future. And certainly with us, we down the road when we get out of this pandemic, virtual is still going to be a major component. We're going to mix them up, and some will be virtual, some will be in person. Sounds like, that's along the lines of what you would like in the future too, right?
Yeah, and I think, well, again, once this pandemic, like you mentioned, that this pandemic is over, that I think it's going to change how we think, and we're going to remain this virtual tool that everybody is used to using. I think it's going to make that much more powerful. And I think, overall, the collaboration, the resourcing, the partnering with folks, that this format and this platform allows us to do. I think it's going to be growth for both of us. Now, when we get back in the office and I can bring other departments within this process, I did in 2 afternoons what if I traveled, which would have been 4 days, I did in 2 afternoons. And I received all the information that I need. I have follow-ups. I have things already in process. That prep work that you do on the front end is going to be so much more efficient for me on the back side of it. There is no comparison.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. And you did a test run and everything beforehand with our guys, right?
Yep. Both Laura and Jessica was on the phone with me, explained to me how the tools worked. I felt very comfortable in how the process worked. So literally, it was 10 minutes to get me up and running, just to test my microphone, test my process, show me the tools that are available, how the meetings would run, and it went off without a hitch.
We're trying to stress the importance of those test runs because, in some cases there were maybe a couple of suppliers that did not do the test runs, would not do the test runs, and then they have the trouble in the meeting, and then that impacts you.
I would recommend the test run to make sure everybody is up and running, how the tools work, the microphone works, and how your remote location will work. And I think it's, again, after that first meeting, I didn't have any errors at all.
Excellent. And that's great. I mean, look, it's going to happen. Things are going to happen.
Right. Yep.
What's important is how it's reacted to and how fast everything is resolved. And that's where our guys are extremely proficient.
They're on it. Again, I had one person, and there were 2 people that popped up from ECRM. Just like if you were at the physical location, they were there to assist.
Excellent. So now, as far as supplier presentations, right? Just your opinion. What do you think, or what do you want to see out of a supplier's virtual presentation? What makes an ideal virtual presentation?
I think the ideal presentation for me as a customer or the supplier, knowing the customer, knowing our stores, knowing our key initiatives of what our point of differences are or where our growth strategy should be, and then the new innovation that they think that might make a holiday or an occasion type of item or a situation to where our stores would be successful. And I think that it's very important that the suppliers are able to achieve those top points within their allotted time. So, and again, I think that countdown clock and the 30 seconds to go, I had a couple of people rush to the end of it, but it was something to where it kept us on task. So, but the collaboration, the new innovation, the new items, and all those things that we accomplished in 10 minutes, we were able to make them very successful.
So glad to hear it. And now, are you going to be participating in some more of these down the road? I know we have several candy ones.
Yeah, so we the everyday one's coming up in August, and we've not participated that in the past. So that's a question for us, and we're going to see if we're what we would use that vehicle for. But so for right now, we're doing all the seasonal ones. Mm-hmm. So we do the Christmas, Halloween, Easter, and Valentine's, the 4 different ones every year. So, and we actually plan our entire holiday during those, and we're looking to add the 5th.
Well, listen, thank you so much for all your time. Thank you for joining. Again, I'm a big fan of Hy-Vee, so it's great to have you on here. And, you take care and stay safe.
Yes, you too. And again, I appreciate everything that ECRM does for our company, and bringing us the suppliers and the collaboration and the partnerships, top notch. I mean, everything is first class. So I appreciate it. Stay safe, and I hope to see everybody very soon.
Yes, in person,
Yes.
eventually.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a great
Take
day.
care. All right.